The crypto market's getting absolutely wrecked. Not actually in terms of price action. I mean, if we're taking a look at Bitcoin's price, it's actually not, funny enough, not that bad. It's down like a few percent throughout the past 24 hours. It's back down to 96,000 from 107 or something like that. It's not that bad. But if we take a look at sentiment, it's bad. It's very bad. Guys, it seems if we look at Twitter, if we're looking at anywhere on the internet, it looks as if we've gone to zero. And I mean, being really open with you here, Dogecoin is going down from like 50 cents to 30 cents from the top. Solana is down to 193. These coins have fallen a good bunch. I mean, for us XRP holders, if you are, it's not that big a deal because we saw these prices yesterday, right? But generally speaking here, people have all of a sudden been completely devastated, wrecked, kaput, blah, blah, blah. Because man, this was a very, very big dip that many people apparently did not expect. And again, I'm personally not seeing it as a big move, but to a lot of people, this probably came as a surprise. Just to put it into perspective, Level here saying this is worse than the COVID crash in Maine. Said, before I am liquidated, thank you all. Thank you for the wonderful months I was able to experience with y'all. However, we seem to be going our separate ways here. We've experienced a lot. We've been through thick and thin together, through rugs and sins, but it looks like everything is coming to an end. I will never forget you. You will always be part of my life. Everything will most likely come to an end here. We have touched the bottom, and yet we continue to go down. Screw altcoins. Okay, jokes aside though, am I worried? No, not a single second. But if you've been watching the channel for a while, you already knew that. There's not a single hair in my body. Okay, I got a lot of hair, maybe a few. But let's just say, all right, that most hairs on my body that I've seen, because they're not afraid. They're just sitting there chilling, comfortable, mostly because we are not over leveraged, meaning if things come down, I could just keep adding, buying that dip. And I think ultimately we'll be able to turn it into a lot of profit. But I will quickly acknowledge some people that right now are having concerns. I'll acknowledge some people that are feeling like the worst is here, even though, funny enough, we can go down so much more. And there comes my truth, right? On the one hand, I'll say this is the problem that some people have where they go too quickly, too crazy because they think we can never go back down. And that's why I often call these leverage flushes to be a good thing. And why we call this, by the way, a bear trap. Basically, things start going down, or people start getting bearish. A lot of the bears things they've won and they double down on the shorts and then you shoot back upwards. It could take a little bit of time, but like yesterday, that was literally a bear trap as it came down a few $1,000s, wrecked a lot of people. The bears got excited and shot right back up. This time around, we're actually staying down low significantly longer. And I also say that posts like Maine's post just now, they're mostly trolls. But if I had to be very blunt with you here, I'd say that right now the Fed is causing so much uncertainty in traditional markets. Even though they're not crashing day in, day out, they crashed yesterday. And it's causing a rippling effect on the crypto market because, as we've seen before, right, the institutional money, they're still buying in, heavily so. But they're buying it as like a hedge of sorts. And I've been thinking for a little bit, they're buying like crazy as a hedge against everything else. But listen with me here. What if all these other things start coming down? Well, initially what kept happening was that the crypto market also fell down because they start taking out of both to secure their assets. What if now, right? This is still kind of happening, but at the same time, as these things get more and more wobbly, especially now with Trump coming up, the Fed now all of a sudden being so hawkish and strange, we discovered that, we talked about that earlier today / yesterday. What if now we all of a sudden see some outflows from the weak hands, sure, but mostly a lot of inflows still from the institutions, where actually this side now starts pumping up more as this side starts going down, and we eventually get ourselves towards a perfect inverse correlation, whereas right now it's still kind of like a one-to-one. I mean, I'll tell you right now that politically there is a lot going on right now. Trump, for example, called to abolish the debt ceiling. Okay. Little side note, guys, I've been buying this dip like a freaking madman. Man, I've never paid this much attention to charts in my life. Not only XRP, by the way, I'm trading nearly everything. You can see we've been buying the way down because you do not know where it's going to end. So I do like small buys all around. My like kind of expected bottom though was around this $2.17, $2.19 mark. So our main entry right now is about $2.19 for XRP. And of course, if things go down lower, I'll be adding. But again, if you also want to trade crypto, I'll leave a link down below to either SFUND or WEX. And make sure you press that like button on the video if you have not done it yet. But right now on Bluefin, there's quite a couple of cool rewards that you can get. The more you trade, the more you get. But the rewards are pretty massive, by the way. $100,000 is the maximum that you could get, which is pretty crazy. The more you deposit, the more you get, basically. But you can find it out. Link is down below to Bluefin. But I will reiterate that I've said on multiple occasions here, January is going to be very interesting. Now, I wanted to say that, before the end of the year, but actually, there's not really any major events anymore before the end of the year. Mostly it's just around Trump's inauguration, the Gary Gensler/SEC changing up, and some things that were really peculiar with that was one thing that was announced somewhere earlier today. The SEC is preparing for a potential federal government shutdown with a focus on the market integrity and investor protection components of its mission. Now, that is a pretty big deal. In the event of a federal government shutdown due to a lapse in appropriations, the SEC's operating status would change concurrently with the rest of the federal government. In accordance with the agency's plan for operating during a shutdown, as the plan contemplates, we are currently preparing for a potential shutdown. With a focus on the market integrity and investor protection components of our mission, our plan calls for continuing operation of certain commission systems, including EDGAR. Additional information available on all these different websites. Kind of crazy to me that they're making it public that they really are preparing for that. Isn't that kind of wild? Is that idea on its own just pretty crazy? In my opinion, it is. Anyway, even though that's kind of crazy, I'm making it sound like not a big deal, but the SEC saying that is kind of wild. I will also state, as I was trying to say earlier with my theory, right, that if you look at the ETFs and what they're doing, they're still buying up massively, even though for some reason, on the more retail side of things, people are fearful. But if we're taking a look at the institutional side of things, they're not. So Michael Saylor, they're buying like crazy, right? 15 consecutive days for inflows to the Bitcoin ETFs. But I'll add something more. If we could quickly find it somewhere. Marathon Digital, I think is their name. You know what they've also just done? They just raised themselves nearly $2 billion from 0% convertible notes. Sometimes I wonder how they're able to do that. But anyway, in November and December, using the proceeds from its zero coupon convertible notes offerings, they acquired 15.5 thousand Bitcoin for $1.5 billion at $98,000 per Bitcoin and repurchased $260 million in aggregate principal amount of its existing convertible notes due 2026 and expects to use the remaining proceeds to acquire additional Bitcoin. Mara has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 22.5% quarter to date and 60.9% year to date. And they, as of this point, hold 45,000 Bitcoin or so, roughly $4.5 billion US. And the thing is, I saw a video of Warren Buffett stating, you know what? I wouldn't buy all the Bitcoin in the world for $25. And the main reason being, if one company has everything, it's not interesting anymore, which is true. And to give him some credit, yeah, if just one company has a coin, right? If one person owns all the Bitcoin, there's no real big need for you to buy it anymore, which is why the whole Bitcoin system was so unique, because you need to convince a lot of people to adopt something. But that's the same for the US dollar, for anything. If there's only one party holding it all, there's no real necessity for any party to get involved. It's about proper distribution, a common mission, a common goal. People believe in that, and once a tiny group of people accept it, it spreads out. Right now with Bitcoin, it's so well accepted, it's so spread out that nobody wants to be the guy to let go of their coins because because they're probably going to be worth a ton more in the future. We've gone past this experimental phase of is Bitcoin as a really good concept. We've gone way past that, and now it's really, in my opinion, also same thing for many altcoins, but I always base it on Bitcoin. It's just about getting yourselves as many coins as possible over the next few months and years. There'll be ups and downs in prices. There'll be bull markets, bear markets, sure, but ultimately over prolonged periods of time. I personally think if you're a crypto holder, your goal should never be to sell your coins. I mean, you should sell coins whenever you feel like you're in life-changing amounts of profit if you're going to do something with that, because things can wobble a lot and you can lose a lot over time in the midst. But I personally think with any of the main cryptos that I've got, if I look back in 15 years from now, 25 years from now, they'll be up, let's say, 700 times what they are today. That's my vision. And so they often say, what if Michael Saylor wants to sell? He'll never sell. What if he'll never sell? I really think if push comes to shove, things get really, really dark, they'll still find multiple ways to raise more money. And then again, if Bitcoin goes to like $3,000 per coin and they might be screwed, maybe Bitcoin goes to zero for a bit as an example, right? Just because, but again, now we're talking about a 99% decrease or so for Bitcoin from the top. I don't think that's going to happen ever again. We could, in the worst case, in my opinion, see like a 70% drop or something like that, but probably from whatever, the $300,000 top it makes at that point. So again, if we're really going to go crazy, maybe we're going to go back to like $80,000 after we've topped out. I don't think we'll ever see a price below $40,000 again, ever. And so to quickly resume the thought process, if your goal right now is to really, no, I should rephrase that. If you're afraid right now, really ask yourself what your investment thesis is, because it means you don't believe in it as much as I do. I'm never afraid of if my coins are ever going to go up. The only thing I'm afraid of is, did I start buying aggressively a little bit too early, right? For example, when it comes to XRP and our trades, I'm like, oh, should I have actually waited for a slightly lower price to start going crazy? That's the only fear I've got. But I know already that right now you can see I've got $1 million on this account. We're only opening it with small sizes. We only put a $40,000 trade in, because I'm kind of hoping XRP goes and makes a big dip and I can enter with like, at that point, hopefully $1 or $2 million at once, open a big trade and go, because I'm trying to flip this account into a lot. All right. I'm not really selling for, $5,000, because I know we're going up anyway. So the whole thing is, in my opinion, if you're going to go up for sure, it's just about getting yourself as much size. And the reason I'm not aping in with like $20 million straight away, like right now, this second, is only because we could go down significantly more. And because, in my opinion, it's wise to spread things out. For example, maybe you want to have some XRP, but you also want to have this and that and this and that coin, and you want to have a big stash of Bitcoin and Ethereum maybe, for example. So you got to spread things out. Then again, though, we're getting these chances to buy the freaking bottom, and I personally think it's a waste not to take them. Even if we go down further, in my opinion, it's a waste not to at least try. I've said my piece. If we go down further tomorrow, I'll be back here screaming the exact same thing. Hey, we get to buy a deeper dip. Woo, let's go crazy. Because even right now, for example, if we bought religiously, and I'm not even doing that, right? Because I'm also a little bit weak. If we did, right now we're up 5-6% or so from that bottom. If we bought religiously, the moment it got below our average price at $2.15, we could have got an average price between $2.19 and $2.15 of about $2.17. We could, as of this point, be up what? Roughly 5% or so from making our first buy right there, our second buy right there. Anyway, this is my strategy. It keeps working. Some person will look at this tomorrow if the price comes back down and say, oh, Dusty, but you lost money. I can sell it right now for profit. The only thing is, I'm not happy with just $1,000, $5,000, something like that. We want to make it big or go home. And so for the most part, I'm just really trying to get more and more size in this trade to flip it for a lot as we continue on. Then again, I could sell little bits every single time we come back up. I could do that. And on the Bybit account, we've actually done that a couple of times as well. You can see here, we were able to buy the bottom, and then actually right there, pretty juicy. We bought into the RLUSD announcement. We sold the top, then bought the bottom again. And there we didn't sell the top because it didn't go high enough. But theoretically speaking, we could have sold the top right there, maybe 240, try to buy the back cheaper. But I kind of thought it would be okay to just wait it out. And as of this point, we're still, our $1,000 is still $30,000 in the profit. So I think we'll be fine. But yeah, you know what? That's about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you put the like button, I meant actually put the notification bell on so you never miss out on another upload. And that's about it for this video.